Hello and welcome to What a Lot of Crime. I'm your host, Charlie is my name. Now, this case has me puzzled as to which is more criminal. The fact that Maria Arabuso and Kieran Duran buried their little son, Daniel Arabuso, on a dirty piece of marshland in Donabate, Dublin, or the fact that there is actually no charge for doing that. Yes, you did hear me right. There's no charge. There's a summary. It's a summary offence, which means it's punishable by a fine, and the fine is usually around €4,000. Can you believe it? So finally, anyway, the Gardaí found little Daniel in a shallow grave where his mother, if you could call that a mother, because a mother doesn't do things like that. So we'll just call her Marie, because I just don't want to call her his mother, because that's not how a mother behaves. After saying she found him in his bed, dead, and then put him in a bath to try and revive him, redressed him, left him for 24 hours, put him in a rucksack, and buried him on a dirty piece of marshland. That's not a mother. That's not the actions of a mother. A mother finds her child dead and they go screaming for an ambulance man to do anything they can to try to breathe life back into their child. That's what a mother does. That's how a mother behaves. A mother doesn't think, I might get blamed. A true mother, doesn't care if they're blamed or not, as long as somebody can help their child. But the fact of when I heard that there's actually no offence is ridiculous. What a fucking joke. Excuse my language, but sometimes these things call for bad language. What a fucking joke. That they won't even get charged. They may have to pay a £4,000 fine. He can pay it from Brazil, the father, Kieran Duran. He can pay that from Brazil. They haven't even asked him to come back yet. What, is this then, are the Gardaí and the court system saying that if somebody is at home abusing their child day in, day out, and that child dies, well then it's okay if they bury it somewhere, anywhere, pretend the child is still alive, lie to the social welfare, lie to anyone who asks you, bury him, and in 10 years' time when the child is dug up, there's no way for anyone to prove how the child died. Now, they're doing the autopsy as we speak. They've done the preliminary autopsy. They haven't released the findings yet of the preliminary autopsy. There is a test. I don't understand the ins and outs of it, but they can test the bone marrow, and that will tell them there's something called diatoms in the bone marrow, and that can tell them if the child died. Because my theory, and it is only my theory, guys, it's not, no sources have told me, but my theory is that that child died in the bath. Now, why I think that is because she is a self-professed a gaming addict. And by the head on him, I'd say he's fond of a joint or two, to be honest. But I reckon they put that little boy into the bath. She went on with her game and he was doing whatever he was doing, and they forgot. They forgot the child was in the bath, and they ran down and they discovered the child was dead in the bath. He's drowned. And that's why they thought they'd be blamed. Simple as that, because you don't think you'd be blamed if you just open your child's bedroom door and your child is not breathing. You don't automatically think I'll be blamed. So in my mind, the child was in the bath, and that's why he was redressed. And they gave this cover story about trying to revive the child in the bath, just in case that the child was found and where they buried him. And when an autopsy was done, there was water found in his lungs. They were going to be able to try and say that, well, he must have been breathed in water while we were trying to revive him. But they're not doctors. They didn't know what that child died of. Why the cops are even letting her utter the words, he died of natural causes. I've no idea why they're even letting her utter those words, because the only person that can determine how anybody dies is a doctor. Nobody knows natural causes. What the hell does she know about natural causes? I think she must have been playing Doctor on the PlayStation, and she thought she really was a doctor or something. The game got inside her head and convinced her she was a doctor. To go and tell the Gardaí he died of natural causes. A fucking idiot with a PlayStation is diagnosing how her child died. There's people who find their children dead and have been dead the whole night long for hours and hours, and they're still seen screaming at ambulance men, do something, do something, make him breathe, make him live. What does she do and him do? They left him there for 24 hours while they concocted their little dirty plan to put him in a rucksack and walk along and dig a hole in a piece of marshy land in Donabate, Dublin, and leave him there and forget about him. But she didn't forget about the social welfare payment. That part of him was still important to her. The only people I have sympathy for in the entire case is his foster parents, who said they didn't even want to give him back. But that's the way fostering works, that you don't get any choice. You give the child as much love as you can while you have them, but you have to do what you're told and give them back when the time comes. Now, don't blame Tulsa either. Yes, they most probably should have checked up on the child, given the circumstances that they had given him up for adoption and changed their mind. Yes, I will say they should have, but they couldn't have foreseen this. And they have to, Tulsa is so underfunded that they have to prioritise cases. If they seem to be doing okay, they seem to be doing okay. Now, if the child did, if there's any truth to that, the child just died in his bed of natural causes, it was still a horrendous thing to do, to bury the child in a rucksack in a dirty piece of marshland. That was still a fucking horrendous thing to do. And, like, there just should be a charge for it. It's as simple as that. Absolutely, 100% there should be a charge for doing that. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And to think that she could just go back now to her life, playing the PlayStation, and forget about it all like it never happened, is sick. It's sick. It's a sick law that's in Ireland. It really needs to be looked at now. Seriously looked at. Telling people that this is an okay thing to do is absolutely not. There should be a law that says if your child dies, you have to report it. You have to alert authorities so that child can get justice. If there has been something done to them, that they can get justice. They're shown in a post-mortem, whatever injury the child had can be seen, and that child can get justice. And if it just died of natural causes, that child can have a decent burial and the respect they had deserved, for somewhere for people to go that you could lay a flower. Because I'm sure the foster parents would have liked to have a little grave if Daniel did indeed die just of natural causes. I'm sure the foster parents would have appreciated somewhere to go to lay flowers. And I suspect they would have been the only people at that grave were those foster parents. But we'll follow the case, and I will let you know if anything else comes of the case. We will get the autopsy reports eventually. Whether to show anything or not, I don't know. I don't know what can be found on skeletal remains, to be honest. But for me, the saddest part of it all is these parents will get away with what they done. The disgusting thing they done. They threw him out like a piece of rotten meat. It's as simple as that. And to me, there was no fear. There should have been no fear that they were going to be blamed if their story is true. That she just walked in to check on her little boy and he was dead. What blame could have been given to him? Why would they have been blamed for that? Why would it even enter their heads to be blamed for it? There's no logical reason. So they either did something to him violently, or he drowned accidentally in the bath, or he fell by accident and they didn't bring him to the doctor. But there's no way that if her story is correct, there's absolutely no way, no reason why they would have been blamed. But I won't ramble on, guys. I like to keep the video short and sweet. I shall bring you any updates. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave me a comment down below. Thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you soon again. Bye bye.